Shalom Israel. Okay, I'm coming to y'all. Still doing this this edition of the Journey. I'm gonna call it the Journey edition. Showing you this landscape. And as I'm doing it, I'm bringing you the brother Little More's editorial on it. And I addressed him in a conversation. This isn't a debate. I'm not kicking up against that brother beliefs or what he know and what he's sharing. I got legitimate, questions pertaining to Esau Edom and his identification. Like I said, nevertheless, believing or understanding who Esau Edom isn't going to keep us in the kingdom, get us to the kingdom. Their judgment is what the Most High said he's going to deal with. He is. Okay? And where I'm going with this is, hold on for a second. Detailing what the book of Obadiah says pertaining to Esau. Esau, we know, is the only person that the Most High claimed to have hate for their perpetual hatred toward their brother Jacob. Okay? He has exalted himself as the eagle and planted his nest amongst the stars. These are attributes of what white folks are doing today. Perpetually hate us. Okay, so like I said, this isn't a debate with this brother. I'm just saying I got legitimate questions for their evil that they're done to us. Now he's stating that Esau is a Negro. I say, trying to figure out all the avenues. Okay, I'm gonna just say them. Esau is said to be the end of the world, meaning the end of a kingdom, and Jacob is the beginning of a new, which we can all tell right now this kingdom is ending. I don't know where Esau, being a Negro, has been over us, oppressing us, and doing such things as the book of Obadiah details. Another black person or people with such power as Obadiah displayed, all the people they were confederate with, and doing so much evil in this kingdom. I don't see how that pertains to someone black, a group of black people. Now, you could say it's black folks that want to be accepted by this world, claiming to be, like, let's say, Republicans. But where have they held power? We ain't even had so much as a black Republican president. We've had a black Hamite African president, which they use to keep us docile and stuck on stupid and following this world. Okay, and then it's this. The information he showed out of these scriptures identifying Edom, and if you know the book of Daniel detailing about the Roman Empire has never failed, it just splintered off and became Babylon, America. Who was running America? Okay, now, and then this here, like I said, Esau is still ruling. The depictions of Caesar, the rulers of Rome, and all those were stringy-haired, Caucasian white people. They weren't Edomite. I mean, they weren't Negroes. So let me further that.
So-called Benjamite called himself an Idumean Edomite, or Paul is a fictional character, and the Herodians are the kinsmen of the writer. They give honor to their ancestors and to themselves by writing them into the New Testament or giving another way in which they can claim authorship. They use this as an excuse to copyright their work. Of course, since the Herods were Arius Piso's relatives, he wrote them into his works. King Herod was Josephus Piso's great-great-grandfather. Archelaus was his great-uncle, as were Antipas, Philip, and Herod the Tetrarch. Herodias, the wife of Philip, was his great-aunt. Agrippa I was his grand-uncle, as was Tiberius Julius Alexander. Aristobulus was his great-grandfather. Agrippa II, Bernice II, and Drusilla were his mother's first cousins. Julius Caesar, Nero, all of these people were mentioned at least once in the New Testament. Titus Vespasian, a complete enemy of the Jews, has a whole New Testament book named after him. John, who was one of the most important New Testament figures, could arguably be named after John Hyrcanus, the ancestor of Arius Piso. Before the first Greek book of the New Testament was put together, the Romans invaded Judea, killing hundreds of thousands of people under the order of soon-to-be Emperor Titus Vespasian, also of the Flavian dynasty, a close relative to the Pisos. This took place in the spring of 70 AD. There were millions of Jews in the Roman Empire at the time, most of which lived outside of Judea. But the reason the Romans specifically targeted Judea because the Romans knew that the Idumean Jews of Judea began to increase in wealth and power. Judea professed to be its own state, distinguished from the rest of the Roman Empire. They set up their own power city, Jerusalem, or should I say, New Jerusalem, which was later mocked in the book of Revelations. In Revelations 21 and 2, we see that the writer states that there was a New Jerusalem that was coming down from God out of heaven. This can mean a few different things. Jerusalem coming down could also mean Jerusalem was destroyed. Judea was occupied by Idumeans, so Esau. We see in Obadiah that Esau made himself high and dwelt among the stars, but they would eventually come down.
And as like I said, I'm sharing that information from Little Moy. Listening to what he was saying that they were invaded by Edomite wannabes who were Romans. I don't understand how, this is just my opinion, how wanting to be an Edomite opposed to wanting to be an Israelite had any reward when the Edomites had no blood right through the Most High with any kind of power to come. So why would they want to impersonate? Like I say, this is more understanding to come. Just where I'm seeing confusion that I'm not getting.
And Julius Caesar, the most famous of all the Caesars, is the grandfather of Arius Piso. The Roman war against Judea was supposedly prophesied in Matthew 24. Christ states that when you see Judea surrounded by armies, flee into the mountains. Many will fall by the sword, and many will be taken. In reality, this was no prophecy. This was written only a few months after it actually happened. Christ was called King of the Jews, as was King Herod. Now it's time to say the New Testament is trash. The book is so inconsistent with itself. It is honestly astonishing how modern historians consider these books to be factual documentations. Get ready to take notes and pause the video because this documentary is going to be very packed.
So it's like I said, I'm looking at these factors. identifying a people. And if Esau is a so-called Negro and his judgment is so great, what is coming to the so-called white people that we are familiar with in this kingdom? How would they not be punished for all the evil that they've done, and yet Esau, being a Negro, bypasses him with being destroyed off the face of the earth? For it not to be an interpretation understood, that's where I'm getting confused. Because like I say, I trust in this brother's work. And that's one thing I keep wanting to iterate. You know, this isn't to debunk, or I ain't gonna say debunk, come up and try to show error in his teachings or anything. I'm genuinely questioning how does that apply, and even understanding that for Esau is the end of the world, for Jacob is the beginning. What Negro does that apply to? And they set their nest among the stars. They might not have gone to space, but they going up in the air. Nobody else is doing that. They have exalted themselves as the eagle. Everyone knows that American eagle flag. What this? I want it to be understood. This is not me wanting. Hold on, let me pause that. Wanting to make something to be that is not just because I want it to be. I'm simply pointing out that things can't add up to me equal something else. Pointing to another people that we can't even identify as some powerful Negroes out here that exalted themselves as an eagle. You know, like I said, if you want to call the Negroes being under the Republican Party, they have no access to weapons. They haven't even been a ruling factor in that whole political game. So I'm trying to figure out, this is Obadiah, where that applies. We can do a process of elimination and try to figure this out together. I would like to hear y'all comments, because this isn't the first time I heard a brother try to share with me that Esau Edom is a Negro. But like I said, I'm trying to figure out how is a Negro the end of the world, for Jacob is the beginning. And this.
Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But Thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Like I said, I'm about to be showing y'all this. This is Utah. This mountainous region. Y'all gonna see. That brings me. What did I do? Still recording? Yep. So like I say, trying to get clarity pertaining to Esau. He was born in the womb with us as a twin. Two mannerism of people, two different nations, means two different nationalities. That's what it says. Two mannerism of people, two different nations. Now, if you Negro, what other nation of Negro is there? Cain and Abel were brothers, and I watched his video on that pertaining to that, and gave speculation to that Abel was of some type of Nephilim. No, I left these mics open. Some type of born by Lucifer, which would give credence. No dispute there. But we're speaking about Negroes on this level. Two different mannerism of people, but yet Negro. What other race of Negro is there? All I'm trying to bring up in clarification. I have no problem correcting anything that I've learned and or shared. And don't have a problem unlearning anything. But it has to make sense for anything that I use to override the understanding. It got to add up. Make me a little ghetto mix, y'all. I usually use barbecue or hot chips to do this little combination. But all I had was the sour cream. So we're gonna see what it do. Just for a snack while I get rolling. Like I say, anything that's just common sense. Anything you take as an understanding, no matter no one's work, you gotta be able to weed out what don't apply. same way how I came into the truth. Under the knowledge, stumbled upon the material with GOCC. That's once I came into the information that there is no Christ, there is no Savior but the Most High. I can only utilize from them brothers the works that apply to us keeping the law, knowing who we are, and who our God the Most High is. All that other teaching, just like you saw in that Obadiah video I just shared, those brothers from IUIC are represented there in the purple shirts with the fringes. Their shirts clearly say United Israel in Christ. They're steady taking baby Jesus along in their walk. So I don't follow them. I never have. I just didn't like the way they operated. But for people who came through that walk, they can relate to them and everything, even if they're not no longer following on them. They can relate to them as those that taught them or showed them a certain thing. Need the barbecue chips with this. It ain't hitting right. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead, upload this one to y'all. I'm gonna get a fresh one for the road and title that one The Journey, as I plan to do. All praise to the Most High. Appreciate y'all viewing and y'all support on our channel. Shalom.